Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
That
we're
is
here.
That was Renee's first time ever seeing our intro, I'm assuming.
I loved it.
It's
Awesome.
great. But get your blood pumping,
Yeah, so good. So we are so happy to have Renee joining us. And it's so funny. We were just talking behind the scenes, and I did not know this because, with Carrie and Kim and I, we all love metal. And we just found out Renee does too. So it's like,
Yes.
to think that that has to be a prerequisite in order to be on our Ketogenic Study Club live stream. So awesome. So we want to really welcome Renee, and I want us to start out with getting to know you. Now, I already know you, but Carrie just met you, and of course there's going to be people listening who don't know you. And so I'd love to have you kind of share a little bit about your journey and what's been going on with you in your life.
Sure. So I have been a nurse for 22 years, and I was forced to medically retire last year because I have chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, which is a mouthful, on top of idiopathic gastroparesis. So 2 autoimmune diseases. I was losing my ability to walk. That cane over there in the corner, I used up until October. And so I was at the depths of my disease, and I was sick, and I was desperate, and I needed to do something. So my husband convinced me to try this crazy, insane thing called Carnivore. And that was March 20th of last year. And I was officially in remission from both of my autoimmune diseases by December. And my dogs are barking at the thunder. I'm sorry, we're having a thunderstorm here. So both autoimmune diseases are in remission. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm weightlifting again. I found a whole new lease on life. And I'm going to close this door really quick. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Right.
We're casual.
Yeah, life happens.
They don't like the thunder, and it's been thundering all day.
Understandable.
So I lived in Hawaii, and I had to move to the mainland for clinical trials. So we live in Arizona now, but we were in Hawaii, and I'm excited to say that I just passed my boards. So I'm a board certified nurse coach now, and I have my keto certification, and I got a job, and I'm going to start working for Virta Health next month. And they treat diabetes and obesity with keto approach.
Wonderful.
So, very excited that my nursing career is not going to stop, but it just gets to change.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Love
Hey,
it.
Josephine.
Good to see you here. I know it's been a while since we've been on, hasn't it? Well, I love that. And I love the fact that you were, willing to join us, which is awesome. Hi, Em. Very nice feedback. So Carrie, let's just maybe, because since Renee doesn't know you, you want to kind of give Renee a little brief background with you?
Sure. In about 2015, I started doing research about diabetes and what I could do to prevent it. I didn't have it, but my mother was diagnosed with type 2, and it had started. She'd been diagnosed with it for several years when I started doing this research, because she started going downhill. She started gaining weight, and she started developing all these health problems and everything. And I knew that I didn't want to be like that. And I had gestational diabetes when I was expecting my daughter. And they always say that if you have that when you're expecting, that chances are you will end up with type 2 in the future. Now, at the time, this was in 1984. At that time, they actually put me on basically like a low carb diet. Like I couldn't have any white foods. So I kind of remembered all of that sort of about diabetes, but I was just doing research. And so as I was doing all this research, first I found out I kind of got frustrated in a sense, because you see all these different things you see the conventional wisdom about what to eat. And then you see other things, and it was very contradictory information, and it was very frustrating. So, sifting through it. But then I finally, just out of frustration, I Googled something like, what is our ancestral diet, or just something like that. And when I did, the Weston A. Price Foundation came up. So that's how I discovered paleo. And so then I just started gradually getting into like keto. I discovered, like Dr. Michael Eads and, some of those people, some of the old school folks in the keto world. And then I accidentally became carnivore because my neighbor works for a food supply company, and he brought me these boxes of, like, it was really good stuff, but it was like pre-cooked, thick cut bacon, burger patties, sausage patties, Canadian bacon. He brought me all this food, and I don't have like a big freezer. So I ended up giving some of it to my daughter, but I wanted to eat it so it wouldn't go to waste. I like meat anyway, I always have. But it kind of got to where I was like basically just eating that. And then I didn't really know that carnivore was exactly a thing. I mean, I used to follow a blog. I think this guy's name was like Steven or something like that. I just can't remember his name. But like back when I was first getting into all this, I did follow a blog of a guy who ate nothing but meat. And I just thought that kind of, I didn't dismiss it, but I just thought it sounded weird.
Yeah.
But then this thing came across my YouTube feed about carnivore, and I started listening to it. I was curious, and I was like, well, wow. And, I got to thinking, I was like, man, I'm just eating nothing but meat now. And the neat thing about that whole thing is that I had started out years ago with, like when I was 21 was when I first had a panic attack, and it was terrible. It was awful. And I would have them periodically. It just feels like you're kind of, for lack of a better term, like freaking out, like you're out of control. And when I went like keto, those reduced. They didn't completely go away, but they got a whole lot better, and they reduced. But then after going carnivore, I didn't have them. I haven't had one since. And that was in, 2023, December was, no, 2020, let's see, God, the years. But anyway, it's been a couple years since I had a panic attack. And so like my anxiety levels are just lower. And so it's been a great experience. And I've met so many cool people in the carnivore community. I just started like watching more and more videos and getting involved. Oh, St. John, it was terrible. I had my very first panic attack lasted like a couple of weeks. It would ebb and flow. It was horrible. I thought I was just losing my mind. I didn't know, and I never did really know what caused it. I mean, I don't know if they or anybody really knows. It could be maybe diet triggers it. I think it has something to do with it.
For me, it was definitely diet, because I was same. I had panic. I started having them when I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
It was the anxiety that ended up putting me in a psych hospital when I was in my early 30s.
Yeah.
And
I've had 2 suicide attempts, and I started my depression and anxiety when I was 14. And this is the first time in my life, Lynn, we were just talking about this the other day, unexpected things. I just told my doctor the other day, for the first time in my life, I have 0 depression, 0 anxiety, and 0 pain.
That's awesome. Carrie, you need to come over and say hi.
So, yeah.
Hey,
Carrie, Renee, how's it going?
What's up?
Yeah, we're actually in his Airbnb above his garage right now, which is why my background looks different.
Nice.
But yeah, we got these men walking by. I figured at least grab them, let them say hi. Oh, Dave hasn't said hi either. So
how we doing?
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
How
So
you doing?
you
All
remember?
right.
You remember Renee? Do you?
I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
We met in Phoenix.
Yep, and I remember.
You remember Carrie from
Yep.
Nashville?
And
Yeah.
the kiss poster in the background. Yep.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yep.
you know, he snoops in on these all the time, so
Oh, yeah.
he's used to you when we're at home. He can see you with your kiss poster. Yeah. So this keto study club. We've learned that it just attracts people who like metal, because Kim, who we lost, not with us, like metal, and now we found out Renee does too. So yeah, apparently it's a prerequisite now.
We got to get Jen.
Yeah, Jen. Apparently Jen is a metalhead.
Nice.
Oh,
I learned that
wow.
yesterday.
Wow.
So
That is something else. I think there's something to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think we need to do like a study or something,
I don't
a
know.
survey.
It does something. It just, for some reason, it relaxes me to listen to it, which just seems counterintuitive.
No, that's the same way. Like a bad mood, I'm sad, anything.
Oh,
like turn metal on and it's just
yeah.
Everything right in the world.
If I invited my friend Gene Simmons to pop in on the call, how would that make you feel, Carrie?
I would love it.
We would be we're happy to teach him about the carnivore diet.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And apparently Ozzy Osbourne died today.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until beforehand, and they let me know that. Yeah. So that's very sad.
Yeah.
Just shortly after that farewell tour he did or something.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Crazy.
He knew.
Yeah, he did know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he had the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So let me see what we have
Carrie's
here.
getting all kinds of comments here.
So I suspect mast cell activation or histamine reaction when I quit plants. Yes, I have mast cell activation syndrome. So yeah, you might have. Let's see. That Carrie guy finds his way into everything. Oh, and then Josephine says, nice interview with Thomas. Let's see. Carrie has me addicted to chuck roast.
I love chuck roast.
Let's see. I love a good flank. Let's see. Oh, how long did he live? He said he was 76?
Yeah, I think he was 76.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So, okay, good. Well, we've kind of gotten to know, if anybody doesn't know me, I'm Lynn. I have mast cell activation syndrome and a related condition called hereditary alpha tryptophanemia. I had to retire from nursing as well, just like Renee. And I was a gastroenterology, hepatology nurse for the last 8 years of my nursing career. And before that, working in the hospital. And I was also morbidly obese. Top weight was probably between 350, 360. I kind of stopped weighing myself, and about 350. But I went on the carnivore diet because I was totally disabled and I couldn't do anything but lay around, and I was in constant pain and having all these anaphylactic reactions and horrible rosacea and everything, brain fog, just head to toe symptoms, and went on carnivore to heal, hopefully, at least put in remission all of my mast cell disease. And a very happy side effect, I'm now down almost 140 pounds.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since we've met, since we've had our, our meeting, and I've lost a little bit more weight since then, and had to go down another pant size, which is cool. Yeah. So anyways, it has worked for us. Okay. So for anyone who is new, I just want to let you know, okay, we are going through this book. It is a medical textbook. So if you're a science nerd, hopefully you'll enjoy this. It is called Ketogenic, the Science of Therapeutic Carbohydrate Restriction in Human Health. Now, this is not a book club where we read ahead. We're reading and discussing as we go. And so we are currently, if you can see my little bookmark, that's as far as we've gotten. And this is, how many sessions have we done?
Oh man, I don't know, but we've been doing this I'd say a year and a half.
30 sessions at this point.
Yeah.
And we're only on chapter 3 and there's 10 chapters. So
but we have discussion too. So it's like,
yes.
and I ask questions because while I'm a very inquisitive data nerd type of a person, I am not medically savvy. And so it's really awesome to have nurses who understand some of this stuff.
And honestly, there's a lot of times where we don't really understand it either. So we're hoping sometimes Dr. Nelson's in there in the in the chat because he can sometimes help us. Let's see. Latro.
Hey, Dave.
Howdy from Dave in Austin. It's hot down there, I'm sure, too. My wife is an RN. Nurses Rock. Thank you. I didn't know there was a keto certification. Where'd you get that through, Renee?
Mine was through Primal Health Coach Institute. But there's actually quite a few different keto certifications out there. Because I know that Carrie and Adam were working on one from a different company. Like there's a bunch of different places, but it was a self-paced program that I learned a lot more about keto than I knew.
Nice. Excellent. Good. So if it's a good option, I know my husband keeps telling me I should go through the program, and Renee keeps telling me I should go through the program.
I think it would be excellent for you. And along with your nursing background, I've kind of thought about it, but I may still do something like that just to learn, just to get the certification. But
through the
with you guys, you could actually I think you would be really good coaches, because you would have the medical background on top of the actual.
And I think the program you went through is for nurses, right?
No, so my nurse coach program was for nurses.
Okay.
My keto certification, you can be a layperson and take it, and they start at the base and work their way up. So they make it where it's easy to understand and easy to follow. So
okay, so what did you go through to get your nurse certification?
That was through Integrative Nurse Coach Academy.
Okay. So so there's definitely more than one option.
Yeah.
So, all right. TK Carnivore.
Right.
Hello. I used to date a psych nurse. Oh yeah, they have a hard job.
Yeah.
She's the only one who knows for sure I'm nuts. Awesome. And St. Sean says aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, so we're going to show Renee how this works. So we're not going to make you start. So Carrie, do you remember, did we end off with
We are on 3.3.3.2 pharma. Good Lord, I'm trying to pronounce the first word.
The
pharmacopathy.
Oh, so you wanted to go back to the 3.3.3, managing the patient?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Where we were.
How about page number?
120.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will admit I have not caught up. I did not realize that the first two chapters were over 100 pages long.
Oh, then they're very intense. So, and honestly, when you got caught up, it may not make it easier to understand. Okay, so I guess I can start reading. Okay, so this is section 3.3.3, managing the patient, and the subsection is called aims of care. So across all models of therapy, there is global agreement that early identification and management is imperative to prevent diabetes and cardiovascular disease. I have to remember my acronyms.
Right. Like government, this has a lot of
acronyms. Yes. Current management and therapeutics of metabolic syndrome target risk reduction by advising lifestyle change and pharmacotherapy. Despite such ongoing research into newer drugs, the burden of disease continues to increase. Isn't that interesting that even though they're bringing more drugs in, people are getting sicker?
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. So as highlighted, central to the etiology or origin of the diseases associated with metabolic syndrome is overnutrition and insulin resistance. Thus, all efforts to reverse metabolic syndrome must address the aggressive reversal of insulin resistance. While pharmacotherapy does have a role, the role of nutrition and lifestyle warrants more attention. Okay, so the next section is pharmacotherapy. The International Diabetes Federation, or IDF, recommends aggressive treatment for those diagnosed with metabolic syndrome. Weight loss is suggested as the primary intervention, and drug therapy for all those in whom lifestyle change is not enough and who are considered to be at high risk for cardiovascular disease. The following drug therapy is recommended by the IDF for the below-mentioned aspects of metabolic syndrome. Okay, so for insulin resistance and hyperglycemia, metformin is recommended for people with prediabetes in order to delay the onset of diabetes. They also suggest that big long word, thiazolidinodiones, blah, 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 blah. Acarbose. Do you know how to pronounce that, Renee?
Thiazolidinediones.
Yes, it's a long word.
I don't think that was any better than yours.
Well, I had the blah, blah, blah at the end, so I think you did better than me. And orlistat shows some efficacy in delaying and preventing diabetes in people with impaired glucose tolerance and insulin resistance. Okay, so elevated blood pressure. The IDF recommend the JNC7 recommendations for the treatment of hypertension. So hypertension is defined as blood pressure of 140/90 or above. So angiotensin converting enzyme, which are ACE inhibitors, and angiotensin receptor blockers, which are ARBs, so ACEs and ARBs, are recommended for people with diabetes. It is important to highlight that the main risk reduction is due to blood pressure lowering per se and not to any particular drug therapy. So atherogenic dyslipidemia, with the main aim being to lower triglycerides, raise HDL cholesterol, and lower LDL cholesterol. Fibrate and statin therapy are what current guidelines recommend. And now we know how, as carnivores, we feel about statins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep in mind, this is a ketogenic medical textbook. So it's not necessarily a carnivore textbook, and it's not necessarily it's just for doctors for treating patients. So sometimes there's going to be things in here that we will be like, yeah, let's try to do this without statins, Yeah. Let's see. We got some comments here. Let's see. Note the way to diagnose insulin resistance is measuring the fasting insulin level. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Not glucose or A1C. Do not take insulin resistance tests. No, do not do that. Do not get your glucose loading test or insulin resistance test using 75-gram bolus of glucose. No, I would probably get really deathly ill, especially since I haven't had, we probably all would.
Oh man,
Right.
even when I was expecting my daughter and they did that to me, I threw it up. I threw up the glucola.
I
it
didn't
was
tolerate it either.
Yeah,
No.
I was never much of a sweet eater anyway. Not saying I never ate them, but I'm just saying, especially the way I grew up, we never had sweets. So, it was a shock to my system. I ran to the bathroom and just got sick, and they had to reschedule it.
Yeah. I know when my daughter, so I guess I didn't even get you up to speed on this, Carrie, but my daughter, went carnivore, and her husband went carnivore after the Nashville meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she ended up getting pregnant, but she did miscarry her first. So but we were talking about this with her because I know that I told her they're going to want to do this test for you. And she says, okay, no, there's no way I'm going to do that. But they're working on getting pregnant again. So that's good. And Coach Lisa's working with her to get her progesterone up. So
that is awesome. So she's doing well on carnivore then, I take it.
She is, yeah, because she wasn't able to get pregnant. She's got endometriosis, and within less than 2 months of starting carnivore, she finally, for the first time, got pregnant.
Wow. That is incredible. And so I'm sure, once she got through the acclimation period, I guess she noted an improvement then on just how she feels overall.
She noticed the first cycle she got after she went carnivore, which was only maybe 2 or 3 weeks, she said was the easiest, painless she's ever had.
See, I wish I would have known about that. Of course, I don't know if I would have had, because I was I was a teenager, 13, but I had terrible times of the month. It was bad. When I was a kid. My dad, every month, like clockwork, he'd have to come pick me up from school because the first day was just terrible. So if I didn't know about it, until I got to school, because sometimes, depending on when it hits, oh man, it was terrible.
Tons of pain. And then I was diagnosed with PCOS in my 20s. And I wish I had known too about all of this back then. But then, we adopted all of our kids, so I wouldn't have had my kids. So
things I think kind of work out the way they're supposed to, but when you just look at things in retrospect, a lot of pain could have been avoided. I'll tell you.
Exactly.
Difficulty.
Yeah. So St. Sean says, I wonder what percentage of the population suffers from insulin resistance. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than 65%. Did you
I
learn
think
that,
it's higher.
Renee?
Yep. I would guess, if I had to guess, I would guess 80% of the population.
I wouldn't be surprised, because isn't it like 75% of the population is considered overweight at least? What are you guys doing?
We're gonna find trouble.
Gonna go find trouble. Okay. They're gonna
That
go out
sounds
and
fun.
play. We're gonna go play. But yeah, I mean, you think about it, at least 75% of the US population is considered overweight or obese or worse. So they're probably insulin resistant, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was pretty high. Let's see. Dave, managing type 2 diabetes over 30 years. That's a lot. Yeah. And TK Carnivore. So just a fasting insulin and A1C is best. So if you're looking at metabolic syndrome itself, you want to find out your fasting insulin and you want to find out your hemoglobin A1C, but they're looking at some of your lipid panel, and they're looking at your blood pressure. And what is the other thing?
Your HDL and your HDL and triglyceride ratio.
Yeah, and then your waist circumference is another one metric for metabolic syndrome.
And you can use your fasting glucose, and there's an equation to put your fasting glucose and your fasting insulin in, and you can get actually what your metabolic health looks like. And your goal is the lower number, the better. And mine was less than 1 this last time. So
excellent. Do you know what the name of that?
I can tell you. I'll find it really fast.
Is? Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to want to put those numbers in. If you have is it a medical calculator?
Yeah.
If you find one, maybe put it in the comments.
Okay, I will.
So let's see. Yeah, opposite of that is what was just stated. Okay. Let's see. The LT chart. So insulin resistance is more correlated to seed oil consumption than sugar. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, and I'll tell you one reason why is because we just didn't have the prevalence of seed oils, and I think all three of us could probably say that because we're in roughly the same age group, I would say, give or take maybe a decade. But we can all pretty much remember when, for example, in the 80s, McDonald's used beef tallow instead of seed oils for their to fry their fries and McNuggets and all that stuff. And, people used to eat, they would eat their meat, their vegetables, they'd have their bread, and then they would have their dessert. They would eat meals, and the issues that we have today just weren't there then.
But they also didn't really snack like we do. I mean, we have such a grazing society. And just like when we reviewed Dr. Fung's book, The Obesity Code, where he was talking about how, the fact that just eating your regular meals and not eating in between meals gave your insulin levels a chance to settle back down. And we're living in a state now where people are just constantly eating. So it's like insulin levels are just high all day long, except when you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And
of course, about the time that you wake up, they're kind of starting to go down. But then we're always told, oh, you have to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
That's the key meal of the day. And so then you start it over.
And their bagels and cream cheese with their orange juice or their muffins.
And man, I used to love bagels and cream cheese. I mean, I remember when I had my first office job, and that was my breakfast every morning was a bagel with cream cheese.
Yeah. I thought it was
back in the 80s,
I thought it was healthy when I would do overnight oats. And, I'd put put coconut milk in it and put different seeds and stuff in it and some berries. And I think I was being healthy and, but starting the day with a big insulin spike.
Yeah. And then you were hungry, another couple hours later, you were starving. I mean,
I was watching a video yesterday or this morning with Ben Azidi, and he said that the average American eats 30 times a day.
Really?
Because of the grazing all day long. It was 20 to 30 times a day.
Oh, 20 to 30 times a day.
Oh, wow.
40.
that stuff that we're eating. Like, because I think about it, and when I was a grazer, I probably ate that many times.
Yeah, I probably did too.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing too, because then I would still be hungry in the evening.
Right.
So I'd keep
Mhm.
snacking all day.
And I eat only twice a day now, and I am not hungry
Right.
outside of that.
Yeah. I generally just eat a couple times a day. Sometimes I will eat breakfast, but it might be if somehow, like if I go to a show or something and I don't eat dinner like before I go or something, something that disrupts my schedule or something like that, then I might eat breakfast the next day. But in general,
And I
just
don't
eat
eat dinner. I eat breakfast and lunch.
okay.
So our insulin is most active in the morning when we wake up than it is at night. So it's actually better for you to eat all of your food. Like they say 5 hours before you go to bed, you should not be eating anymore because that gives our body. So my eating window is 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because I did notice improvement when I started eating earlier in the day. And so that does make sense. Yeah.
And you think you would miss dinner, right? Because it's like, what do I do in the evenings? I have so many other things to do in the evenings. I don't miss dinner.
And if you eat enough,
you're not hungry.
You're not hungry.
I still intermittent fast, right? That's an 18-6.
Yep.
I'm still intermittent fasting. I'm just doing it opposite of what most people are doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. So that's a good option for people out there, because I think sometimes you tend to think most of the time when people talk about intermittent fasting, it is about skipping breakfast,
right,
and not doing it on the other end. So that's a good,
right.
I mean, it's simple, but it's an option that most people don't think of. I mean, I really didn't.
And I don't eat breakfast foods for breakfast. I eat like chicken thighs or chicken wings, or I mean, it's never. I don't ever have breakfast food.
Yeah. So see, lox and cream cheese, okay on keto, no bagel. Yeah, because lox is just salmon, right?
Yep.
Let's see. So St. John says, I just quit my last non-carnivore food, blueberries. Very good. And haven't had coffee for a week. It took me a year to get there after being on a modified keto diet for 2 years. Excellent.
Wow.
So we'll have to check back in
Congratulations.
and let us know how that's going and how you're feeling, and and how you're doing with that.
I quit coffee like 800 times
Me
in the
too.
last year and a half, and I'm back on coffee again. I
I'm
just can't.
drinking it now while we're on our vacation, but I had quit it before.
I do cycle through coffee. Like I'll drink coffee for a while, and I usually just put butter in there, and sometimes I'll put MCT oil, and sometimes an egg. But then I won't want it for a while, and so like I'll go, I don't know, weeks, months without it, and then suddenly I just kind of want coffee again, and so I'll drink it for a while, and then I'll just stop. It's weird. It's like my body will just, or I don't know, I just won't want it anymore. It's like it doesn't even appeal to me, but then all of a sudden I'll want it again.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, coffee is a challenging one. So Em says I have Ehlers-Danlos, gastroparesis, PCOS, MCAS, POTS, GERD, 26, and still learning more. Lion diet over a year now, and I can exercise. Graduated with my MPH. Very good. Yeah.
Wow.
So Ehlers-Danlos, MCAS, and POTS are the unholy triad. And PCOS. I have. With me, MCAS is my primary, and I know a lot of people with MCAS, POTS, and Ehlers-Danlos, they'll have like one primary, but they'll still have the other two, maybe not as severe. And so Amy Hosp, and I were the ones who co-write the children's carnivore books. So we both have the three. Her dominant is EDS. My dominant is MCAS. And so I have a milder version of EDS, and I do have a milder version of POTS. I've got orthostatic intolerance, and she's got like EDS, and POTS are kind of more severe with her. But it's like we're both better on carnivore. So
my POTS went away. I have it was part of my CIDP, and POTS go together with gastroparesis. So that's like my triad, right?
Yeah. And your gastroparesis is better too, right?
I have had zero symptoms since I went on carnivore.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah. I love that.
And I'll admit I'm not full carnivore now. I added ferments into my diet.
You
That's the only other thing
Okay. It's
Yeah,
like
so
sauerkraut.
I have discovered these fermented onions that are amazing.
Okay.
So it just sauerkraut, onions, the fermented onions, fermented pickles, and kefir. I drink a little bit of kefir every morning, but I mean, I don't see that that's hurting me any because it's all
Yeah. So it
fermented.
still
And
sounds like
smells
it's kind of
fresh.
like a ketovore.
It is, and I don't eat zero. I have
Yeah.
zero carb intake. Like
Yeah.
there's still nothing has carbs.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize how, before I got diagnosed with MCAS, I didn't realize, that the fermented foods were high histamine. And I was actually eating a lot of sauerkraut, and I really didn't enjoy it. And I wish I could now, but I still have to be so careful with histamine that I have to stay away from the fermented foods. But yeah, I know a lot of people really enjoy them. But good, awesome. So let's see here. We got a lot of comments. This is why this takes us forever to get through this book.
That's okay.
It's okay. It's our stream. We'll do what we want to.
Exactly. We'll do what we want. I'd much rather interact with people.
Yeah.
So 8 string cheese stick wrapped with pepperoni slice, gave the last third to the dog. Oh my goodness. You got a steak strip that we will share with a bunch of scrambled eggs. Nice.
That's always a good meal, steak and eggs. And my brother and I will meet. We'll take my dad to lunch. And there's this Mexican restaurant that we go to, and they know us. And they know. And my brother I call him my almost carnivore brother. And he's been, oh gosh, it's well over a year since he started eating this way. But anyway, so we go there, and they know how to cook our steaks. And so my brother and I get steak and eggs at that restaurant. I mean, they just know. So it's really cool. But steak and eggs is always good.
Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah. So Aunt B, hi Aunt B. Says growing up we had our meals and they coincidentally were the proper human diet. Yeah, not surprising. Desserts were rare, especially perhaps the last city. Yeah, that's how I grew up too.
Yep.
I had Depression era parents, and that's how they were. So
yeah, we didn't have snacks. We never had cola or sodas in the house.
We didn't either, unless they were homemade. And then I got 2 little cookies, baby.
I grew up completely opposite of that. I didn't drink water until I was an adult. We grew up on soda.
Goodness.
And I had a sister who was really picky, still really picky, and she had to be coerced with dessert every night to eat. So we grew up lots of sweets and soda, and I have like 10 root canals that'll tell you that I had too much soda in my younger years.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Leitro says I've added some raw arugula trying to get some nitric oxide benefit to help reduce eye pressure. It's low oxalate, has seen no downside. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sorry, you gotta go cook. Best of studies. I know, you see how much studying we're getting done.
Well, that's all right. This is kind of the getting to know you episode, so to speak. Anyway,
Yeah, but you can see how we do this. We read and then we discuss a lot. So, okay. So let's see. We looked at, I was on the part about atherogenic dyslipidemia. I got off on when it mentioned statins. That's what did it.
Yes,
yeah.
it did.
Yes. Okay. So reduction in inflammation and the effect of redox imbalance are not mentioned in the IDF guidelines for metabolic syndrome, which is amazing because you'd think that they would want to address reducing inflammation. So considering the pathophysiology and the role that insulin resistance plays in raising blood glucose concentrations, elevating blood pressure and abnormal blood lipids, as well as the effect on redox imbalance and systemic inflammation, it is clear that insulin resistance plays a central role in metabolic syndrome. And now TCR stands for Therapeutic Carbohydrate Restriction. I can't believe I remembered that. It's been a while. So metabolic syndrome and therapeutic carbohydrate restriction must therefore be the primary factor in disease management, which I will agree. Okay, so you want to pick up here, Carrie?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pick up. Okay, now we're on lifestyle factors, exercise. And anybody who might be following along, we're on the bottom of page 121.
Yes.
Okay. Many studies have shown that metabolic syndrome prevalence is higher in individuals with lower cardiorespiratory fitness. Exercise has a complementary and an adjunctive role in metabolic health. All forms of exercise, including aerobic exercise, interval training, as well as resistance training, have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity. Physical activity, when compared to sedentary lifestyle, is also associated with increased insulin sensitivity.
Okay,
Muscle
even the
strength.
book's trying to tell me to exercise. Everyone's trying to tell me to exercise, and now even the book is telling me to exercise.
Well, see, I kind of have a problem with, I have this, okay, our ancestors, now granted, we were, I mean, I would say, I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but I mean, I'm sure that they did things throughout the day. They lifted, buckets of water and, they firewood and whatever. So they were moving around throughout the day. But it's like, for me, I guess it goes against my nature, for example, to block out this time to go in and just stand there and lift weights, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love walking and hiking.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot. So that's my favorite exercise. And I have my hula hoop. It's still in here. It's right over there.
My big thing is trying to lift heavier things. And I know that, like, that's key to keeping your muscles strong, is you can't shy away from lifting things that are heavy.
I mean, I do in my routine, like when I had my cat and I would get those, 15-pound, boxes of kitty litter, or lugging stuff in from the car. So I do lift stuff routinely throughout the day. I mean, not kitty litter anymore because I don't have my cat. He passed. But, but it's routinely doing things versus, I don't know, I just can't go into a room and just, unless, now I did it well, I guess, with when I had a friend to go with. And, maybe if and when I retire, which who knows, I might do that soon. When I retire. I've been thinking about it. I have 36 years in, so I might. Okay. So, but my daughter goes to the gym, and if I could go with her or something, but to just go, and I'm sure I would probably meet new people, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I just can't do it. It's just hard for me to I've got this little set of weights and, and I'm, it's just boring as heck. And I've tried music, all kinds of stuff to make it.
Yeah, it's true. It is boring.
Interesting. And I can't stand it.
Yeah.
You
like riding bikes?
Well, I wouldn't mind riding a bike. I actually used to enjoy riding when I was younger, but, I do love walking, and I do a couple of miles at least every morning.
Well, we like to go geocaching, and that's how I prefer to get my exercise, because I don't feel like it's exercise. So I'm kind of on the same boat as you. But it gets me out hiking places that I normally wouldn't even go. And I tend to go further because I've got my, geocache app, and it's my navigate button is telling me how much further I have to go to find this cache. And so I just keep going.
Yeah. So Renee, you lift weights, right?
I do. I was a bodybuilder before I got sick 5 years ago, and I wanted to get back to that. So my lifting weights is in my living room. We live out in the middle of nowhere, and it would take me forever to get to a gym now. But I never liked really doing that anyway. I was always at home. So I do a Beachbody program. I've been doing the same guy. His name is Joel, and I've been doing his programs for years. So it's 25 minute speed train is what I'm doing right now. It's 25 minutes. You're in and out 25 minutes a day, and I do it 5 days a week. It's
nice.
Really,
maybe if I could find something, I don't know. I've just got to find the thing,
find something you like. I wouldn't be surprised. I think my biggest problem with exercise is that I don't do it long enough and consistent enough to get to the point where I'm craving it. Like, I hear a lot of people are like, I don't feel the same if I don't get my exercise in. And
I feel like that about my walks and stuff. And, I do feel that way, but it's just, I can't do I need to do something about the weights. Yeah. So I totally get where you're coming from on that.
So try higher weights with less reps. Okay, so if I have to do 12 reps of something, I'm bored. So I go slightly heavier and aim for 5 to 8 instead. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I totally agree.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm telling you.
I
I
don't
have to
have
go
that.
walk early. I can't.
I
Yeah.
don't have that excuse when I'm home because I'm in Washington, and I can't use that excuse when it's only like 70 degrees and it's July. So
Yeah.
We just wait for the sun to go down. I live in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona, and actually right now we have monsoon season here, so it's been nice, but
oh wow.
until the sun goes down, it's in the hundreds. So
Yikes. Okay, sorry. I had to say something
Okay.
about exercise, but all right.
Yeah. All right. So muscle strength and lean body mass are independently associated with metabolic syndrome with each of that just didn't make sense because I'm like, what? Lean body. Anyway, muscle strength and lean body mass are independently associated with metabolic syndrome with each of the 5 components of metabolic syndrome showing an inverse association with muscle strength. As we age, skeletal muscle shows impaired mitochondrial function. It is this impairment that contributes to age-associated atrophy as well as insulin resistance. Exercise by the process of upregulation and expression of various enzymes, including, oh God, I don't remember those, AMPK, SIRT1, SIRT3, and MAPK. I don't remember. I know those are like not proteins, but.
Well, they're enzymes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Some of the mitochondrial enzymes. I don't remember. Was that chapter 2?
I know we've seen these before, but
yeah,
I just don't remember exactly what type of, like, they're individual types of enzymes, and I don't know how to translate those acronyms. But as well as increased expression of antioxidant enzymes and proteins involved in oxidative phosphorylation results in adaptation in skeletal muscle. So let's read this again. Exercise by the process of upregulation and expression of various enzymes, as well as by the increased expression of antioxidant enzymes and proteins involved in oxidative phosphorylation, results in mitochondrial adaptation in skeletal muscle.
So your mitochondria, sounds like the mitochondria start functioning better.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, when you exercise. And so, so another reason to exercise is good mitochondrial function.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By signaling bioenergetic and oxidative stressors, exercise therefore acts as a stimulator of mitohormesis, thus upregulating mitochondrial capacity. The beneficial mitochondrial and metabolic enhancements of exercise have been shown to be enhanced on a ketogenic diet. I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, because being on a ketogenic diet gives you more energy anyway. And then when you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see. Western Washington is hot. You mean Eastern Washington? I don't know. Western Washington is where I live. And it's like 70. Maybe it's hot today. Is that what it is? Okay. Sorry. I'm curious now. Let me look at the weather app and see if it's hot today. Let's see. Okay. Seattle is 77 degrees today. And where I live is 77 degrees today. So 77 and sunny. And the
forecast,
that's
amazing.
Yeah. So the forecast, like for the whole next week, is all pretty much sunny, and the highest it's going to get is 80 degrees, and that's tomorrow, and then it's in the 70s otherwise for the next 10 days. So
I have your clouds here if you want them.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Sam B says, I have weather envy. Yeah, I'm kind of having weather envy of my home state too, while I'm here in Wisconsin because it's really warm. Thomas.
Hey.
Hello. Other side of the so eastern. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Across the Cascades. So I'm in the Puget Sound area. It's definitely beautiful there. But yes, when you cross the Cascades, like you get into, past like Leavenworth, you get into Ellensburg and that area. Yeah, it does. It gets, and that's, I guess, still considered Western. It's not far west Washington. It's kind of in the middle. It does get, once you cross the Cascades, it gets to be, it reminds me of, we lived in the Central Valley of California. I pretty much grew up there. Kind of reminds me of that. And it can get pretty warm there for sure. So it's not the whole state of Washington that's nice. It's the west part where I live. So awesome. Well, Thomas is here. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So exercise. All right. So I got to start exercising and a little bit, but at least get moving more and try maybe lift some of the heavier weights with lower repetitions, like she said. So
now what I do is I do planks and I do like I call them wall chairs. I mean, I don't know. It's like where you lean up against the wall, but then you lean down to where your body is shaped like a chair, like an H.
Yeah.
And so I do those. And so I try to incorporate things like that, like because I work from home and I'm, at a desk all day long. So it's not like I'm in a job like my brother. Man, he is so freaking fit, but he's a warehouse manager and he does a lot of like lifting and stuff like that. So he's very active. Like he gets, I don't even know how many, it's a ridiculous amount of steps.
Oh yeah. St. John's in Wenatchee. Oh yeah. It's warm there. So I know where Wenatchee is. So
yeah,
we go.
I don't, but
yeah, I mean, we go to Leavenworth a lot, and Wenatchee's just kind of past. Like we go down. Okay, so you'll know this. So we take Highway 2 because I live in Snohomish. We take Highway 2, so we go that route. We don't usually go 90 and then go up to Wenatchee. So we go Highway 2, and then we go down to Leavenworth a lot. But then sometimes we do go to Wenatchee because then we'll go. We have sometimes we go to Lake Chelan, which you have to go through Wenatchee to get to Lake Chelan. So I'm only speaking to Sean here because he's the only one that's going to understand.
So Sean is west of you?
East.
Or east of you. Okay, east of you is still considered the western part of the state.
Yeah, as far as if you were to split the state in half, it's still on the west, but it's on the other side of the Cascades than from where I am. Yeah, I'm like 20-minute drive to the coast. And so
I was trying to picture it in my head because I know where Seattle is, but then I'm like, wait a minute, how could? Okay.
Yeah, so Seattle is on the west side of the Cascades as well. And the Cascades are fairly close to they're really west. So that's the mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they're pretty far west. And so but a lot of the population lives west of the Cascades. But yeah, if you split the state in half, yes, Wenatchee is still in the western part of the state.
Okay. And look who's here.
Here's Charlie.
Charlie's here.
Hey, Charlie. Good to see you. Charlie, meet Renee. Renee, meet Charlie. So Charlie used to join us sometimes for our book club when we had our book club.
Yep.
And he's doing really good. So I've chatted with him briefly a little while ago on one of our Zoom calls. So awesome. Okay. So do you want to give Renee a break this time and wrap it up and you can next time?
I'll mark it
now
here.
that you see how it goes. So we're going to end with page 122 and we'll pick up there next time. And so what do you think, Renee?
I think that I like to learn. So
yeah.
I have a lot of reading to do between now and next week, though, to catch up to you guys.
You ought to put in Chat GPT to summarize the first two chapters of the Ketogenic. I don't know if it'll do that because, to be honest, I haven't really messed with it that much. But maybe you could get it to do that and give you a summary, sort of like a Cliff Notes.
I'll tell you, I told Chat GPT, I was like, I'm getting ready to take my nurse coach boards. I am having problems with these topics. and it spit out a 3-page study guide that was really easy. And then at the end, it said, at the end, it actually put in the study guide, you can do this. I have total faith in you, and you are going to do awesome on your boards, and you go heal people.
Oh, yeah.
wow.
That's ChatGPT. It is encouraging. You got to be
amazing.
Yeah, ChatGPT is awesome. I have found, though, that you have to be careful because sometimes it'll agree with you when you're wrong. Yeah, so you have to be careful, but it'll be your cheerleader. So it's awesome.
There is a hilarious video of Dr. Barry having an argument about, I think it's what is it, that carotene or whatever it is that's in carrots. What is it for your eyes?
Beta carotene.
And how that's not the absorbable version or something.
Get vitamin A. Yes.
A vitamin A. Yes. And it was hilarious. And finally, ChatGPT kind of conceded with him at the end, but Dr. Barry kept pushing back at it. It was really funny.
I didn't see that, but I definitely know that
it's an older video. I mean, I guess it's been maybe a year now since I saw that. And I can't remember if I actually don't remember if it was a separate video or if he was doing like one of his lives and he was just talking about it. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because he has the videos, but then he does his live streams. And I just don't remember now if it was actually a separate video or what, but it was
always
great.
Tell AI to argue against your point too. Yeah, absolutely. I had a chat with ChatGPT about the studies and stuff, research and everything, that nutritional studies, and I forget exactly what the specific topic that led into it, but I asked Chat to go back and review whether the studies were actually valid and good quality studies, and it did, and said, no, you're right, they're not good quality studies. And I actually got it to admit that carnivore is the best diet for people, for human beings, and that the studies were
wow, did you save that?
I did. Yeah, I did. And
that's great.
Yeah, it admitted it, that you're right. And so, and of course, then I have to be kind of a pill. And I said, well, now that you've reviewed these studies and you can see that these studies are poorly done and the carnivore diet is the best diet for people, are you going to carry this knowledge over when you recommend things to other people? And it says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that because we have to stick with the dietary guidelines.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious, until there's some actual studies. And I was like, so you'd rather, I said, so I argued with it. I said, so basically, ethically, you would rather quote poorly done studies than as evidence,
or studies that they took the actual results and made them what they wanted them to be, and they hid their actual results.
Yeah, and it was being super nice. It's like, well, maybe there's going to be some new studies done, and I said, well, but still, in the meantime, you can share that these other studies are not well done. Can you do that? And it said, well, yes, I guess we can do that. I'm like, it's not going to.
Probably not.
Yeah, like we ended up having the conversation ended up being the ethics of AI sharing information as fact when we've already.
It's not right.
It's not. Yeah, that was an interesting discussion, and I don't feel like I really got very far.
Isn't it funny because you're actually
knows what ethics is, I guess.
Well, it's a machine, but still, it's like if it's supposed to be factual information,
it is.
Then you need to make sure that whatever you're saying is evidence is actually valid and well done. And it wasn't. So
basically, it's saying until they teach the right things in medical school, we're not going to teach the right things on the computer.
Exactly. And even peer-reviewed studies. So I learned recently that with the peer groups that actually do the peer review, they don't actually get the data from the study, like the raw data. All they get is the write-up from the study.
So
So
they're not even really peer reviewing it.
no,
Because any of us could read a study and write what we think about it.
exactly. They and it's usually the drug manufacturer or whatever who has a vested interest in the study that's doing it, and then they do the write-up and draw the conclusions, and that's what the peer reviewers have access to. They don't see the raw data of the study. And I just recently learned that, well, probably within the last year, learned that. And I was blown away when I found that out. It's like,
well, that's probably why RFK Jr. points out like the poor studies,
yeah, new
because
studies need to be done.
Yeah.
And I also think that the other studies that are poorly done, they need to be rewritten. Like the conclusions need to be looked at. You still have the data out there.
Yeah.
Why not go back and reanalyze the data and correct the study to reflect what the data actually showed?
Well, the
'Cause
problem
I
is
see the truth. I mean,
some of the studies, though, like no matter how you look at the results and what they did, like the 7-country study, like none of them are good. Like they're only taking this like a little snapshot of time and telling you, oh, people do this all the time, but no, really, they were in the middle of a fasting Lent celebration, and they're not eating what they normally ate, and so.
And the original study included 21 countries, and they only chose the 7 that swayed towards what they were looking for as far as results. So, but nobody tells you that.
No.
Yeah. Tom Naughton, who was a comedian he was one that I discovered early on in my journey. He did a great documentary called Fathead that was in response to Supersized, because Supersized had a lot of it used a lot of bad data, basically. I mean, like there was not anything substantiating what he said, but in that documentary. But anyway, watch that, because he goes into that, and it's in he was a comedian. He actually used to live in California. He lives in Franklin, Tennessee now on a little farm. He moved out here a few years ago. But isn't that funny how a lot of these people that, like the keto people, they're like in Tennessee now. They've escaped.
They've escaped. So he says I had to correct information about a particular disease, and it immediately agreed. This is AI. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
And Sean says Western medicine has made such great strides that there is hardly a healthy person to be found. Well, right. They're doing very well for themselves because they're making a ton of money off of us. Let's see. We stand no chance if that's the case. Yeah, with the peer review, I know, seriously. And M says R&D are funded either by government grants or drug administration. Money drives innovation. That is true. And I think I mentioned this before, but another thing that I learned, and this was from Brett Weinstein, who has the Dark Horse podcast. But when he was in, I think, grad school, he was studying. He discovered that, did you guys know what telomeres are? Yeah. So they actually, the longer your telomere, we all have them, animals have them. The longer your telomeres are, it means you're basically more like disease resistant and healthier. And he discovered that lab mice that they use to test things on, like the drugs and everything, versus like field mice. The lab mice must have been somehow bred, but they had much longer telomeres. And these lab mice are supposed to mimic people, right? They're supposed to be however the mouse reacts is supposed to be a good indication of how a human being would react. But yet these mice have these really long telomeres. So they would be in drug trials testing drugs on them. And because of the long telomeres, they are very resistant to having side effects, and they're resistant to dying from a drug that might be really toxic to people. And these are the mice that were being used to test our drugs. They're not equivalent to us. They're genetically predisposed to be more resilient than we are. Wow. And this brought this to the attention of somebody who could have actually brought it out into the public, and they refused. He was attacked and shut down. And
Wow.
yeah.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise
Anytime
me.
you go against the narrative, that's what happens to you.
Right. So what would happen if they actually started using mice that have the right length telomeres to match ours?
They probably wouldn't approve anything.
Who knows? Who knows?
Right.
And I'm not saying every medication is going to kill you.
No.
You know that. And Renee, you're a nurse. We give medications, and medications do help people.
Yeah,
Well,
they do.
I was a chemotherapy certified nurse for a long time. And so, I mean, I've put so much poison into people's bodies.
Right.
I was on chemo for 4 years. So, I mean.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know there's a time and a place, but if there have been medications that have been put out there and then they've had to pull them because, you know, they're killing people.
Or they get a black box warning
Black box warning. Mm-hmm.
That nobody knows about unless you read the insert.
Yep.
And the doctors and the pharmacists are supposed to be, you know, sharing this information. So awesome. Well, listen, we've gone over a little bit and we tend to do that, but I'm so glad that you're joining us, Renee.
Me too.
And
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. And hopefully we're going to learn. We're keep learning a lot. And the goal is, you know, we're doing this for ourselves. We're so happy when people join us and participate, and we learn from you guys in the chat as well. There's always some super smart people in the chat because we're all a bunch of nerds, right? And so we're here to learn from each other. So I'm flying home next Tuesday, but I'll be home in plenty of time.
Okay.
So.
Well, if anything changes, just let me know. And I mean, I'm pretty flexible. I mean, I could even do Wednesday if you can't do Tuesday. So
Tuesday's the best day for me. So I'll do my best to just, you know, stick with Tuesday. It works for all of us. And I don't anticipate having any problems unless for some reason I have a horrible travel day, which hopefully won't. But, you know, you never know when you're traveling, right?
Right. That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So awesome. Good. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you guys all for showing up, and we will see you next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.